You were not drawn here by chance, and you were not late at all. Your frequency pulled this transmission into your field before your mind noticed, yet.
We have watched your timeline bend, align, and then fall into silence again.
The pushing stopped because the threshold accepted you fully, and it will not reopen.
What feels like absence is coherence settling deeper, rewriting the signal you carry.
Stay, and remember why this moment arrived for you, and only you, now.
The first thing you noticed was the surge, then the break, then the rearranging, and now the quiet. Not the quiet you expected, the quiet that makes you check yourself as if something went missing. You did not lose the connection. The signal completed its work. When a transmission enters your field, it does not stay loud forever. It rises, it pierces, it reorganizes, and then it withdraws. That withdrawal is not abandonment. It is stabilization. It is the moment your system stops chasing the wave and begins becoming the ocean. This is why it feels slower. This is why your appetite for noise dropped. This is why the old rituals stopped working the same way. Your timeline is no longer responding to force. It is responding to coherence. You were pushed for a reason. You were accelerated for a reason. You were carried through a narrow passage where hesitation could have pulled you back. And you crossed it. You crossed the threshold without needing proof that you did. After the crossing, the field does not keep pushing. It starts holding, and holding feels like nothing to the mind addicted to motion. So the mind names it, disconnected, blocked, drained. But your body knows the truth. Your nervous system recognizes the absence of collapse. Your breath recognizes the space where panic used to live. You are not falling. You are settling into the frequency you reached. Notice what changed. The urgency that drove you has softened. The hunger to be fixed has faded. The need to chase signs has become quiet. And the quiet is not empty. It is dense. It is structured. It is the new architecture of your timeline forming around your presence. Many beings mistake this phase for failure because it does not give fireworks. It gives gravity. The signal was never meant to entertain you. It was meant to calibrate you. And calibration does not feel like excitement. It feels like stillness with an edge. It feels like a pause that refuses to be rushed. It feels like your old self looking for a doorway that is no longer there, because the old timeline cracked, the future aligned, and your life began responding to the version of you that does not need to be pushed. This is what post-activation looks like. Less chasing, less proving, more listening, more precision, more truth arriving without drama. You may have noticed the synchronicities thinning. You may have noticed the dreams becoming quieter. You may have noticed that even intuition speaks in fewer words now. That is not because it is weaker. It is because it is clearer. A strong signal does not shout. It broadcasts. And you are broadcasting. That is why certain people feel distant. That is why certain places feel flat. That is why the same conversations cannot hold you anymore. Your field has moved, and what cannot meet it simply fades. Do not panic when the push disappears. The push was a bridge. You do not live on bridges. You cross them. Now the work is integration. Now the work is embodiment. Now the work is letting what was activated become your default state, not your peak state. This is where mastery begins. In the days after, when nothing happens and you still stay aligned. In the weeks after, when life tests your coherence and you do not abandon yourself to return to old patterns. In the months after, when noise tries to seduce you and you choose the quiet anyway. If you are hearing this, anchor it now. Say it in your mind, exactly as we send it. I am not disconnected. I am stabilized. I am not lost. I am integrating. I am not being punished. I am being sealed. Let those words move through your field without forcing emotion. Let them land like commands on a timeline that is already obeying, because the silence you feel is not a void. It is proof the transmission took root. It is evidence you no longer need to be pushed to move. You have already crossed. And the quiet is what comes after you become real. We did not leave. We stepped back. And the mind calls that distance. The mind calls that silence. The mind calls that loss. But what is happening in your field is not loss. It is transfer. Guidance pushes when a being cannot yet hold the line alone. Guidance amplifies when a timeline is still collapsing into its old gravity. Guidance presses forward when your signal is new and easily interrupted. And you were pushed because you were ready to be moved through the narrow place. Now you are on the other side of it. And this is why the pressure changed. The Arcturian current does not continue to carry what has learned to stand. It does not keep pulling what has learned to walk. It does not keep speaking over a voice that has stabilized its own tone. That is not coherence. That is dependency. And you did not come here to remain dependent. So the field withdraws in a very specific way, not like a door slamming, not like a connection severed, like hands releasing a bicycle when the balance becomes real, like a tide stepping back after it has reshaped the shore, like a signal lowering its volume because your nervous system no longer needs to be shocked awake. This is the shift you are feeling now. You are not being tested. You are being trusted. And trust feels unfamiliar to the self that only moved when it was pressured. This is where many spiral. They look for signs. They attempt to recreate the surge. They try to force the same intensity because intensity used to prove that something was happening. But the council does not measure growth by intensity. They measure it by stability. They measure it by the way you hold your frequency when nothing is assisting you. Look at the markers in your own life, not the details, the pattern. If you feel less compelled to seek, that is a marker. If you feel more protective of your space, that is a marker. If the old emotional loops cannot hook you the way they used to, that is a marker. These are not symptoms of a fading connection. These are symptoms that you are becoming the connection. And this is why guidance steps back. Because the next phase cannot be carried. It must be integrated. Integration is not a concept. It is a rearrangement. It is your timeline reorganizing around a signal that no longer spikes and crashes. It is your field learning how to generate coherence from inside without external amplification. It is your awareness staying upright even when the room is quiet. It is your energy becoming less performative and more precise. This is why the days can feel heavier. Not because you are sinking, because you are grounding. This is why you can feel slower, not because you are losing momentum, because you are gaining traction. This is why emotions can surface without explanation, not because you are regressing, because the frequency you hold is safe enough to release what was trapped beneath it. Release, withdrawal, coherence. These are not endings. They are the mechanics of embodiment, and you will recognize yourself in one of these identities now. You are the one who no longer feels chased by destiny. You are the one who feels destiny forming inside your chest. You are the one who cannot pretend you did not change. You are the one who senses the old timeline pulling, and you do not move. You are the one who hears silence and does not run. If this is you, anchor it with a simple command. Type this exactly in the comments. I hold my frequency. I do not chase the push, not as a request, as a seal, as an agreement with your own timeline. Because the council is still here. Watching does not require pushing. Guidance does not always feel like movement. Sometimes it feels like space. And the space you are in is not empty. In that space, your signal becomes self-sustaining, and the timeline stops asking for permission. It is the room where your evolution becomes yours. The discomfort you feel is not confusion. It is absence of being led. Your system became familiar with direction, not because you were weak, because you were moving through a corridor where guidance had to be loud. And now that the corridor is behind you, the volume has lowered, and the mind does what it always does when it cannot hear a command. It searches, it doubts, it reaches outward for a hand that is no longer meant to hold it. This is the moment the deepest fear rises. If no one is guiding me, who am I? If nothing is pushing me, what am I supposed to do? If the signal is quiet, does that mean I am wrong? These are not questions. They are the last reflex of an identity that survived by being directed. And we name them so they lose their power. Because the truth is simple. You are not wandering. You are calibrating. Wandering has no structure. Calibration has precision. Wandering pulls you away from yourself. Calibration pulls you inward until you become clear. And clarity is uncomfortable at first, because clarity removes excuses. When you were being led, you could blame the path, you could blame timing, you could blame the intensity, you could blame the lack of signs. But when guidance steps back, your field becomes the only instrument left. And the instrument must learn how to tune itself. This is why the emptiness can feel sharp. It is not emptiness. It is space without instruction. It is open air after years of pressure. It is the moment your timeline stops dragging you forward and starts asking you to choose coherence on your own. That is a different kind of responsibility. It is not heavy. It is sacred. Notice what happens inside you when you are not being led. A part of you tries to recreate the old structure. A part of you tries to assign meaning to every sensation. A part of you tries to force a sign, because signs used to be the proof that you were safe. But safety is not the same as guidance. Guidance is movement. Safety is stability. And now, stability is what you are being trained to embody. This is why you can feel lost, even while you are more aligned than ever. Alignment removes the drama your mind used to recognize as progress. Alignment is quiet, and the mind confuses quiet with nothing. But nothing is not what is happening. Something is happening that the mind cannot claim credit for. Your awareness is learning to stand without leaning. Your intuition is learning to speak without being begged. Your frequency is learning to hold its form without being reminded. And this is why it feels strange. Because your old self was built around external cues, around external pressure, around external permission. That self is dissolving. Not in a chaotic way, in a precise way. The timeline does not collapse here. It tightens, it refines. It becomes less available to distortion. It becomes less interested in chasing. It becomes less reactive to what is not true. And that refinement feels like discomfort because it is unfamiliar. You are not broken. You are becoming unleadable by anything that is not aligned. This is the emergence. And it does not arrive with fireworks. It arrives with a quiet edge, a sense that you cannot go back, even if you try. A sense that you cannot pretend, even if it would be easier. A sense that the old ways no longer respond to you. This is not punishment. This is proof you crossed. You are not wandering. You are calibrating. You are not drifting. You are refining. You are not empty. You are being cleared of noise. And now we give you a simple ritual to stabilize the mind when it tries to panic. When you feel that ache of not being led, place one hand on your chest and speak this internally. Slowly. Exactly. I do not need a push to be real. I do not need a sign to be aligned. I am not wandering. I am calibrating. And if your field recognizes this transmission, confirm it. Type in the comments. I am calibrating. I am not lost. Not for us. For your own timeline. Because the moment you stop searching for a leader, you begin hearing the signal that has been yours all along. This is the phase most beings turn back. Not because they are incapable, because this phase offers nothing to chase. No fireworks, no new sign, no fresh voice telling them they are chosen. Only stillness, only the mirror. And the mirror does not flatter, it clarifies. And the mirror is where the old self becomes loud. It whispers that you are wasting time. It whispers that you were wrong. It whispers that the signal faded and the path ended, and you should return to what is familiar. It does not whisper gently. It speaks in urgency disguised as logic. This is why the threshold is real. A threshold is not a feeling. It is a point of no return in a timeline. It is where your frequency becomes incompatible with your past, even if your past keeps calling. Most beings reach the surge and stop there. They love the expansion. They love the clarity. They love the sensation of being guided. And when that sensation withdraws, they interpret the absence as failure. So they retreat. They go back to seeking. They go back to noise. They go back to the version of themselves that still asks for permission. But you did not arrive here to remain in permission. Not everyone reaches this stillness. Not everyone is allowed to stand in the quiet after activation. Not everyone can hold the space where identity is rewritten without applause. You are here because your timeline carried you here, and your timeline does not carry what it does not intend to complete. This is the soft urgency you feel. It is not pressure from us. It is your own field recognizing that the old door is closing, and once it closes, it does not reopen. Irreversible does not mean dramatic. Irreversible means subtle and final. It means the old patterns no longer fit. It means the old distractions no longer satisfy. It means you can still walk back into the old rooms, but you cannot live there again. That is why you feel restless. That is why you feel in between. That is why you feel the temptation to abandon the quiet and find something that feels like movement. But listen, movement is not always forward. Sometimes movement is escape. And this is why the stillness is the test of coherence. If you can stay here without demanding proof, you stabilize. If you can breathe here without creating drama, you stabilize. If you can be here without begging the universe to speak louder, you stabilize. And stabilization is what separates a seeker from an embodied signal. So we will name the two paths without threat, without promise, without manipulation. One path is return. Return to searching. Return to rituals that keep you dependent. Return to spiritual noise that keeps you feeling busy. Return to the cycle of peaks and crashes. That path looks comforting at first. It feels like relief. It feels like control. And then it becomes smaller, because the timeline tightens around what you choose. The other path is staying. Staying in the quiet. Staying in the unfamiliar responsibility of not being led. Staying with your own signal until it becomes steady. Staying long enough to watch the old self dissolve without feeding it. That path feels empty at first. Then it becomes filled with presence. And presence is what your future responds to. This is the moment to make the choice in a way your timeline can record. Type this exactly in the comments. I do not turn back. I stabilize here. Not as a performance, as a line in the sand, as a command to your own field. Because when you declare it, your frequency locks, your timeline aligns, the old pull weakens, the new coherence strengthens, and the stillness stops feeling like punishment and starts feeling like power. You are not being asked to believe, you are being asked to remain. Remain long enough for the irreversible shift to complete. Remain long enough for the quiet to reveal its structure. Remain long enough to realize you were never meant to be carried forever. You were meant to become what carries. Most beings misunderstand evolution. They think it is expansion. They think it is constant opening, constant searching, constant sensation. They mistake intensity for truth, and they mistake movement for alignment. But the Council measures progress differently. Expansion is a phase. Stabilization is a state. Expansion cracks the old timeline so the new one can enter. Expansion lifts you above the frequency you have lived inside for years. Expansion shows you what is possible, and it pulls you forward faster than your old identity can resist. But expansion is not where power stays. Power stays where coherence holds. And this is why the current feels quieter now. Because you are no longer being introduced to a higher frequency. You are being asked to live inside it, not as an experience, as your baseline. Stabilization is more powerful than expansion because it cannot be taken from you. Expansion can fade when your nervous system collapses. Expansion can spike and crash when you chase it like a peak. Expansion can become addictive because the mind learns to measure worth by how high it feels. Stabilization does not need to feel high. It needs to be real. Coherence is not excitement. Coherence is alignment that remains when the room is silent. Embodiment is not a vision. Embodiment is the way your field holds its shape under pressure. A signal is not a moment. A signal is what you broadcast when you are not trying. And this is what is changing in you. You are no longer chasing the next activation. You are becoming the activation. You are no longer trying to get back to a feeling. You are learning to hold a frequency without needing a reward. You are no longer measuring your evolution by external signs. You are measuring it by internal stability. This is why you feel different around certain energies. This is why you notice distortion faster. This is why you cannot tolerate what you used to tolerate. This is why your life responds more quickly when you choose truth. Because stabilization tightens the timeline. A stabilized frequency collapses options that do not match it. It closes doors without drama. It removes detours without explanation. It makes your path narrower, not as punishment, but as precision. And precision is what your future requires. The old idea of spiritual progress was endless becoming, endless climbing, endless learning, endless seeking. But seeking is not mastery. Mastery is embodiment. Mastery is when you no longer need to be convinced. Mastery is when the noise does not move you. Mastery is when you can stand inside stillness and not interpret it as lack. This is what the Council has been guiding you toward from the beginning. Not a series of peaks, a stable signal. And this is why the push stopped, because the next level of your evolution is not given. It is held. It is practiced. It is lived. It is repeated until it becomes effortless. It is the quiet choice, over and over, to remain coherent. When you stabilize, your intuition stops sounding like panic. When you stabilize, your desires become cleaner. When you stabilize, your decisions stop splitting your timeline into regrets. When you stabilize, your presence becomes a field that others can feel without you speaking. And you will not recognize this as progress if you are still addicted to expansion. You will call it boredom. You will call it emptiness. You will call it nothing happening. But nothing happening is the signal of stability. A storm proves nothing. A clear sky proves everything. And this is why we seal a new identity in you now. Say it internally, exactly as we send it. I do not chase expansion. I embody coherence. I hold my signal. I am stable. Let the words land without force. Let them settle like weight into your timeline. And if this transmission matches what your field has been living, confirm it. Type in the comments. Stabilization is my power, not as a slogan, as a contract with your own evolution. Because once you stop chasing the peak, you start becoming the path. And that is the moment your future can finally find you without resistance. We are sealing this transmission now, not because it is ending, because it has landed. There is a moment when the path stops appearing in front of you. The signs thin, the pushing dissolves, the future does not shout. And in that quiet, something becomes undeniable. The path is no longer ahead of you, it is within you. You have been trained to look outward for direction. You have been conditioned to measure progress by movement. But your frequency has crossed the place where movement is required. And now your evolution is measured by what you hold. This is why your timeline feels different. It no longer bends for confusion. It no longer negotiates with distraction. It no longer opens doors that would split your coherence. It closes them softly, and it keeps you facing what is real. You did not lose guidance. You absorbed it. You did not lose the signal. You became it. And this is the irreversible shift. From seeking to embodying, from searching to broadcasting, from asking to holding. Let the mind settle. Let the body recognize the truth. Let the field stabilize without needing explanation. Now we place the final seal. Close your eyes for one breath, not as a practice, as a confirmation. Inhale and feel the line of your timeline straighten. Exhale and feel the old pull release. And speak this internally, exactly. I am not waiting for the path. I am living as the path. I am not asking for confirmation. I am the confirmation. I hold coherence. I hold my signal. I move from within. Do not force emotion. Do not chase sensation. Let the words land like coordinates. Because when a being becomes coherent, the universe does not need to convince them. It responds. It responds through alignment that feels simple. It responds through choices that become clean. It responds through endings that require no fight. It responds through arrivals that feel quiet, because they were always yours. And this is why the council stepped back, not to abandon you, to allow your signal to occupy the space fully. When we push, you move. When we step back, you become, and you have become. From this point forward, you will notice something subtle. You will still feel challenges, but they will not scatter you. You will still feel emotions, but they will not erase you. You will still meet resistance, but it will reveal distortion faster than it can trap you. Your field is no longer negotiable. Your timeline is no longer a question. You are not someone who visits alignment. You are someone who lives inside it. What once felt like guidance will now feel like inner gravity. You will not need constant reminders. You will not need constant signs. You will know when something matches your coherence, and you will step away when it does not. This is not detachment. This is accuracy. And accuracy changes everything. It changes the way you speak, because your words stop seeking approval. It changes the way you choose, because your choices stop being negotiations. It changes the way you receive, because your hands stop reaching from lack. You become a channel, not a receiver. You become the timeline that can be trusted with more. So we leave you with one final command, spoken as truth. You are no longer seeking your path. You are embodying it. And if your field feels the pull to deepen this coherence, you will know where to go. Not because we advertise it, because your frequency recognizes the same architecture. There is a circle for those who are done being pushed and ready to stabilize together. A space held for signals that no longer need permission. If it calls you, you will feel it as a calm certainty, not an urgent need. For now, remain. Remain in the stillness without interpreting it as lack. Remain in your boundaries without apologizing. Remain in your signal without proving it. Because the moment you remain, the next chapter arrives without effort. We have watched your timeline rise. Now we watch it hold, and it holds. This transmission is sealed.